you?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you today, Giselle?
Fine, thank you. We're excited to introduce the new course that was developed to help the junior mentors become independent investigators.
Yeah, and although we've put our bio sketch and a little bit of information up on the website, it's always nice to share in words what we're thinking about the course and why we designed it.
Absolutely. So maybe for the benefit of the audience, tell us about yourself a little bit.
Sure. So I've been at Rush for almost 20 years. I trained in family medicine and then came here for my geriatrics fellowship. And now I spend most of my time working at the Rush Alzheimer's Disease Center, where I oversee our clinical trials portfolio because my interest is in the design and conduct of clinical trials for common age-related conditions like Alzheimer's disease. But I've also been playing a bigger role in the university about how do we help to engage in translational research and to do projects across the institution. And that's brought me into contact with a lot more junior faculty members and postdocs, and we hope that this course can help them to increase their skills. But how about you?
So I am, thank you for asking. So I am a research scientist actually. Prior to Rush, I was at Argonne National Laboratory where I have my own group. And my research was actually more into basic sciences, more physical sciences. But at Rush, one of the functions that I have is actually to be the director of mentoring programs. And I'm privileged and honored to work with so many mentees who really are excellent researchers. But at times they need a push, they need a little bit of help to really get their research going. And so my role is to facilitate their success by providing them with resources and also some support they need to really succeed in their research and to move on into the academic ranking, to move up into the academic ladder.
So why did we create this My Career Development Plan?
Well, it's very important to provide resources to all, independent on who. They might have mentors that are excellent mentors and they provide the support, but some other mentees might not have the support, or they might be underrepresented, and it's unfortunately the case that some people who are underrepresented, they might not have the mentors that they need really to succeed. So this course levels the playing field. They provide resources for everyone to start their own learning really about themselves and trying to understand what their gaps are and fill those gaps to be able to move on into a research career.
And as first generation, first in my immediate family to go into medicine, I think that's really important because I noticed too in my career was learning how to practice and to become a physician and in clinical care. But I didn't get a chance during my medical school or some of my residency, even though I was curious to think about research as even an option for me. And lucky enough, 1 or 2 years and being here as faculty, I was able to join the Rush Alzheimer's Disease Center, and I had some wonderful mentors who were very patient and helped me to grow my career and figure out that I really did want to work in sort of this design and conduct of clinical trials and supporting that type of research in aging. But it was a lot of trial and error with good mentors helping me along the way, and I do hope that this course helps people to not have to struggle as much to find some of the basic ideas and resources and helping them to kind of advance their careers and to empower them to talk about what they really want to do with their research and what excites them and to be more successful in that pathway. And then, so what were the things we were put into this course to help people to achieve sort of this capabilities to design their career, research career development plan?
So one of the very important things is to give them the opportunity to really learn about themselves through the IDP, the Individualized Developmental Plan. So it's a series of questions they answer about themselves to understand really what their interest is and what skill set they have that are very important, transferable skills to the research endeavors they want to pursue. But one of the things that is very important here too is that we provide examples of K awardees, pieces of their awards that are going to be templates for them to follow or to see examples of successful K awards that they can follow, as well as videos of those awardees and mentors who were very instrumental in the mentees getting the award. So not only they give advice, but they also identify their faces, and they can actually have a network within Rush of people who were successful in getting those awards. We also provide resources like the library, where most of us think that we're really good researchers, and even in terms of looking for articles and for topics. But the library is a great resource for all of us, and so we have a module there to help them with topics that are very relevant to their own research. How to pursue a research question, how to do a library search. We also put together the mentor online training so that they can engage the mentors as well. If the mentor sometimes is not clear of the expectations of the mentee or vice versa, they can go through that module and they can also reflect on the importance of being a mentor and the time commitment that requires to be a good mentor. So all those pieces are there.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, especially in the early stages, to really understand, who you are as a person and what you want to accomplish with your research career. And that takes some time, and it requires some exercises and some works to really understand your skill sets and where you want to grow, a little bit about your environment and your support networks. And I think what I found is, in my first experiences of trying to write a career development grant for the NIH, is I thought it was all about just like writing my specific aims and my 6 pages. And I was running out of time, and then I realized I had to write all these other things about my bio sketch and information about my environment, and get letters from my mentors. And I think a nice thing by showing examples of successful grants and breaking it down into those steps is to give people that broad overview of all these pieces you need for a complete understanding and an application. And my feeling is that it's not just for even applying for federally funded, structured grants around career development, but by going through that process, you'll understand what you want out of your research career a little bit better, and to be able to go to your section chair or to other administrators and say, I do need these type of resources to be successful, or I need help to find somebody who can be a mentor in this area where I need to develop my skills, and I noticed my bio sketch may be a little bit limited in the number of papers I've written. So before I write that entire grant, maybe I've got to focus on getting some more papers out.
Absolutely.
And how do we think that people should use this class and my career development plan to help them to advance their research? How should they get the most benefit out of this course?
Really is they have to discuss with their mentors. They realize what their skill set is, what their interests are. Really engage mentors as soon as possible, so that they have good discussions about their plans in the future. It is also a way for them to schedule time and work on the different topics that we actually give them to work on, or that we propose them to work on. So they can say, well, this week I'm going to work an hour or 2 in this particular section. We are going to get them feedback. And then it's an iteration until they finally complete, hopefully a K. If not, they understand the pieces or the time commitment that is required to complete a K award. I think there's a very good, even when someone comes to Rush and they want to do research, there is a way for them to come back to the chair and say, if I want to be successful in getting a K, this is the time commitment I need. This is the time that I need to invest in this type of proposal to be successful.
Yeah, and I do think that even just, it's a long process, and sometimes just even breaking it down into smaller pieces can give people a sense of momentum forward and an idea of what the total picture looks like, and then the little steps you have to take. And sometimes having it in modules with little pieces can help us to understand how to move forward more quickly. And we've structured it in the course so people can read about prior experiences. They can understand how a good application or a section would be rated by external reviewers at the federal government and other scientific peer resources. And then they can, actually try it. And I think that's the nice thing about this, that it is an active exercise for them to build their own portfolio of information and get a first draft out, and then continue to work on editing it, getting it better as a career develops over time. but we couldn't have done this just by ourselves, and I think that's really important to recognize.
Absolutely.
So, who are the other people that have helped us out in designing this course?
Well, we have to thank Lynette Washington. She has been instrumental in helping us to put this together. The library, a lot of people in the library help us quite a bit, absolutely. And I also wanted to thank the Faculty Affairs because they provided me the time to work with you in this project, which was very rewarding for me.
And I think with the mentoring program and the resources here, it's been a great connection with our librarians, with our educational design. And some of this happened because we had funding from the National Institute for Minority Health and Health Disparities with a Center of Excellence on Disparities in HIV and Aging. That helped us to focus on this idea of building careers and answering questions around health disparities and having more individuals that were diverse to be part of sort of the scientific journey that we all go on. So we really do, I hope personally, and I'm sure you do too, that people will enjoy this, will take this opportunity to learn with us and be part of the journey. And also really share, what were the good points about the way the course has been developed, what were some of the struggle points or things that weren't so clear, because we're also continuing to adapt it and try to make it better so that it can be a better resource for postdocs, junior faculty, and even their mentors to better go through this process.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Raj, for the excellent program that it was your idea, you conceived it, and I'm very happy to be part of this project.
Yeah, looking forward to working with you, Giselle, and our students.
Thank you.